turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure you hit us up for a session or service at aoastudios.org. Book your session today. I am joined today by not one but two very special guests coming from the Merrimack Valley region of Massachusetts. Both these guys we have
7-8.
Exactly. Yeah. We got the one and only Melks, the producer, and Bleave, the artist. Bleave the impact. And these guys have a brand new project out called what is it called again? I'm sorry. Overwhelmed and Ambitious. I almost said overly ambitious. I'm sorry. I knew it was over something. Overwhelmed and Ambitious, excuse me, which is out now on all platforms, and we're here to talk about it today amongst many other things. So,
Absolutely.
Guys, welcome to the show. So happy to have you both.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely,
Really appreciate
Thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. Like I was saying, this is long overdue to have both of you on. I've been it's almost like back in my days of recording at Knowhere Studios and all that, it almost became a bit of an afterthought. I was like, wait, I gotta have, and then you hit me up. I'm like, why did I never have Melks on before? And it worked out because meeting you through Knowhere, it just made sense. So
it all came full circle.
Of course,
Definitely did.
Oh, of course. And sometimes you get wrapped up in the grind, and then you're like, oh wait, I got some dope people in front of me that I haven't had on yet either. So, but it worked out because you guys dropped this amazing project. I'm super stoked to talk about it.
Thank you, bro.
It's a really nice body of work, for real. Because I've been a fan of both your works before, and I know obviously you both have been, you obviously are a co-owner of Knowhere Studios, and I know you're heavily involved there now as well. So it seemed like it made sense, but it's not something I ever expected. So I can't wait to dive into it and for the people to hear a little bit about it today. But first, if you're a fan of the Turntable Teachers, you know that we start with the objective. So we're going to talk about sort of how you got to this point now. We talk a little bit about the background of both of you in the objective. So Melks, I want to start with you because I know you grew up in Lawrence.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, you're a co-owner of Knowhere Studios. So kind of take me through your journey of being a producer and how you got your start as a producer, and then really up to this point you're at now as owning one of I think personally one of the best studios in the state.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, I owe that all to engineer extraordinaire John Glass. So
of course, big shout out to John. We love John over here.
Man, it's actually kind of funny because I mean, music wasn't something that I ever thought about growing up. It just so happens that I had a couple of friends. They rap. They asked me what I wanted to do. I said, I'll make beats, and that's it.
So I know, you grew up next to Andre X, correct?
Yes.
Like right on Marble Ave, which we'll talk about a little bit too. And so I heard through the grapevine that, I don't know if this is true or not, that when they would be making a lot of music at Andre's house, right? And you kind of were just somewhat interested
on the
in
side,
and maybe peeking out the window, what's going on over there?
It's actually funny because his father gave me my first computer that I used for
I did hear
production. So, yeah. And it's funny because me and Andre didn't actually work together back then. So it's just funny how he had his own thing going on, and then I started my own thing at the same time. So, and then years later, just working on music and starting our own business as well, Marble Ave Films. So, again, just all coming full circle, So
totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It's funny because he had mentioned to me that his dad was the one that first gave you your first PC. That was actually a question I had a little bit later. But that's okay. we're in here. And then, Bleave, I know you grew up in Haverhill. Is that correct?
Yeah, born and raised.
Awesome. Amazing. So for you, how did you start wanting to become an artist? And obviously, your main genre that you do is hip hop, and you're a rapper. So when did you start rapping? How did sort of that whole thing come to be?
Rap kind of came out of curiosity, to be real. I was always into music heavy. It came probably around once I got out of high school, I'd say. Once I got out of high school, right around that time, I was making music just kind of with one of my boys. He was making music, I was making music, and then, I'd always been heavy into hip hop. I was heavily influenced by the Drakes, the J. Coles, the Kendricks, like people like that. Like I was always tapped into the hip hop side. So I always felt listening to music like I could do that too. Like no, I never really had any influences to be like you should make music. Like he kind of had Andre's pops to be like, oh, he's making music. He gave me the computer to make music, or like had influences for the music. Like I didn't really have that much.
Nobody in your family that's like musical or musically gifted.
I had an
like
uncle
that?
who played the drums, but it was never on some like come learn the drums or like you should do music. Like if anything, my choice of music was very like out of the ordinary, at least to that uncle. He was heavy into rock, so I wasn't really like, not that I didn't really mess with rock, but like it wasn't my main listen. You know what I mean? I'm more of a hip hop head for sure. So getting into the hip hop scene was just kind of like I can't even really. Like it's the only thing that felt right. Going on hip hop music, putting on those beats, and it came from freestyling. Just freestyling with my boys. You guys know how it is. You know, spit some bars, and then it was kind of like, damn, I'm really putting this together on the spot pretty quick. Just kind of like off the vibe and just catching stuff, and practice and practice and practice, and then after a while, somebody was like, yo, bro, like you're actually pretty good, and then. Little trial and error, and 8 years later, here we are.
That's what it takes sometimes, right? Yeah. Is somebody to kind of almost give you that reassurance of like, oh, hey, like this is kind of cool what you're doing. Like, I feel like you should keep going with it or pursue it or whatever. Like, and I think like sometimes that breathes some life and confidence
inspiration,
into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially
being young, like young people for sure. Like if they don't have any like positive influences or positive like people around what they're doing, like because creativity is all there's a lot of different things that people might not support, and people are creative in all different ways, but music specific, it's like everybody has this image of like if you do music like you gotta make it and this that's a lot of people do it. It's like outside of that, like there's a creative process to it that I feel people got to support a lot, especially being like people close to you, like my brothers and my boys and my parents, like they were all down for it and they all inspire me to this day. So that was definitely helped me a lot. That helped me stay on track. Having people that were like, yo, we want you to drop music. Like people around me asking me for music, and people in my circle, and building that organic fan base, like not even fan base, support system of people that are around me.
Right.
You know what I mean? People who really support you for who you are. It's like they mess with me as a person, but outside of that, they really want me to pursue music because they know that I have a gift and they want me to do it because they I
feel like we're fortunate too in the sense that we were able to find our passion. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
Oh, absolutely.
You talk to a lot of people that kind of struggle even later in life where they're trying to figure out what it is that they like. And the fact that, we kind of stumble across this thing. Again, I wasn't even looking for it. And I've been doing it for a long time now. So the fact that, I feel as passionate as I did back then when I started. So, yeah, very fortunate for sure.
That's really interesting because a lot of the times, it's funny how you two are almost in the same boat in that sense where it's like music wasn't never like a thing you like sought out. It kind of came to you and you just kind of embraced it. Yeah. I almost feel like that I hear the opposite all the time where it's just like, oh yeah, like I knew this was like, I wanted to do something creative or I wanted to, do music, or I had this family member or friend that like, roped me into it, but I always had this passion for it. It's like, it seems as though it was really circumstantial for both of you, but then like, it's a beautiful thing in that sense for it to like have manifested in the way that it has for both of you.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, it very was. I don't want to say coincidental, but like you said, it kind of like fell into my lap. Like my mom listened to really good music, but aside from that, like it was just kind of like me just listening to music, always being inspired by the music, and just making your own choice. But like you said, just being aware enough to be like, damn, I like this. I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna second guess it or not do it because I don't know if it's right or not. I was just like, I'm gonna just do it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
No, I can totally relate to that as well. Cause like I was, growing up, I was, in high school, college, and even to that point, like I was the guy that, if we were going to if we had friends over or we were going to have a party or something like that, it was always like, who's got aux? And everyone would just point to me because they knew I was that guy that always was just like doing deep dives. And I just was super nerdy. I'd be home on, in high school and middle school, I'd be home on a Friday night, like not going out with anybody. I'd just be scavenging LimeWire and Napster and iTunes and all this shit to just find like whatever I could get my hands on and listen to that was like a little bit different. And then when people would be like, yo, like, what are you listening to? I would like send people different stuff based on their tastes. And I was back in the day, making mixes for people on CDs and shit like that.
That must feel good, right? Like the fact that people put you in this pedestal of like, oh man, this is the music guy. That's the guy that we need
he
to go
knows
to,
good music.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what, when it came to full circle, me like starting this podcast 4.5 years ago, it was like, and once I actually got on the microphone and started talking about it, like I had the same thing. Like I didn't have a fan base, quote unquote. Like it's not what it is today, but it's like I had a core group supporters that were like, and that would always be honest with me. They weren't. They were never like just BSing me. Like
you can't have yes men.
No. But even during the moments where I was like, yeah, maybe like I don't want to do this. Maybe this is like, not that I didn't want to do it, but like maybe I'm like, I don't know if this is like, you have that like imposter syndrome. Like I had this conversation with Key a little bit where it's like, you kind of early on you maybe lose that confidence a bit, and like there's like an imposter syndrome, like this voice in your head like that's doubting you, like, oh, maybe this isn't like meant for you, right? But that's like to have those people like, no, you got something here, like push it, pursue it. Or like I had friends of mine that would say, I love, like, you're so good on the microphone, but like you need this, you need like intro music, you don't have the intro music, like you need better marketing, like all that stuff. Like people in your corner that will tell it to you straight.
The truth,
yeah. It's like if you want this to be something successful, like you have to actually like worry about more than just the product. And like I'm glad that's like I had friends of mine that were like that were marketing majors that like were able to tell me that. So I can relate to that on a lot of those levels too, where like it was accidental, but it, it was always like. Yeah, it was in me in some way.
Meant to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like that played a big factor as far as like me when I first got into music. Cause like you said, based on like people were like, all right, you're the music guy. I was that guy filling up people's iPods with LimeWire music and like stuff like that. So when I got on, like, I used to have people that followed me on SoundCloud just for my likes. And if they're like, yo, what do you listen to? I'd be like, go to my SoundCloud likes and just go through those. So I had like 80 followers on SoundCloud back when SoundCloud was SoundCloud. You know what I mean? Like back when it was like, everybody dropped their music on SoundCloud. So that was kind of my foundation, I guess you could say.
Sure.
I already had, so like right when I dropped, it was like, it was pretty good motion. I'm not gonna lie. Like for the beginning of like a music career, like that motion was pretty good. Like off rip, like it was like end of high school. Like I had like 80 followers, dropped a couple tracks. It was like I really felt like, damn, I'm doing this music stuff, and it was just kind of embracing that feeling and not really looking back. But I understand what you're saying as far as like having that voice in your head, like, you sure? Like, is this worth it? This, that, and the third. You're investing time, energy, like everything into it. It's like, but then you like, without this, I feel like I wouldn't be who I am. I feel like I wouldn't feel complete if I wasn't doing this stuff, because this is the stuff that makes me who I am. Yeah.
I definitely don't have those feelings anymore. Just to be clear as well. I'm sure we're all in the same boat now with where we're at. Like,
way
in our
too
own,
deep into that.
No way. Like that. That's it. This is it.
Part of me.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like all creatives go through that, as far as like, that self-doubt and struggling with, damn, do I want to keep going?
I feel like that's healthy.
I feel like, no, absolutely.
Because
I feel like that's the thing that separates the person that's really passionate about something. When they're able to put all those voices to the side and just keep going.
And when you're faced with that crossroad of like, do I continue or do I go down the path of like, there's so many people that unfortunately do stop. And sometimes
super talented.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So I've seen it happen a lot.
You see it in sports as well. I mean, I know you being an athlete, former athlete, like I'm sure you can relate to that as well. Like you see it all the time. Like, oh my God, this kid was so talented at X or this sport or this art or whatever it is, and then to see the people stop.
It's like, damn. Like,
it's hard.
Honestly, one of my older brothers is like that. Like, he was super good at baseball, basketball. He was a beast, but he just like he stopped. Honestly, I have a couple boys like that too. To be honest, but like, luckily they found passions in other places. But it definitely sucks to see people like, I don't want to say be a waste of talent, because like that's if I'm being straightforward, that's kind of what it feels like when people do something like that. It's like, damn, you're a waste of talent. Like you're gifted. You should have kept doing it. But it's like, who am I to put this on somebody else and say, yo, this is good for you, you should do this? It's your life at the end of the day. Like, that's just my perspective on it. But
totally,
it's funny that you say that, because I feel like that's one of those things that through music you learn so much just about life in general, as far as like even your perspective on things, like what you just said about, you see people that are talented, people that you love and you care for, and you see them kind of like, veering left
drifted.
Instead of sticking the course, and it kind of bothers you, but at the same time, you kind of learn like, not everything is meant for everyone, so
Sure.
And just understanding it and being able to accept that, it is what it is. So
absolutely. No, this is. I'm glad I opened this can of worms. This is a great conversation. I'm curious how you two came to know each other and became acquainted.
Knowhere.
Yeah, Knowhere Studios. Community Tuesdays is where I originally met him, and I didn't think he was going to be how he was. I didn't know he was going to be like genuine and a workhorse. I thought he was going to be like this, like, I don't want to say an asshole, but like, honestly, like,
does Melks give off asshole vibes?
No, not at all, not at all. But on the community board, it's like, make sure your 808s are in key, or Melks is gonna call you out. And I was like, that was my first that was my
impression,
first, first impression of like even the name Melks. I was like, damn, who the hell is this guy calling people out? Like, and then I met him, and he's mad cool. I was like, oh, all right, that was out the window. But
yeah, oh, that's wicked funny.
No, actually, I got put on to Knowhere Studios, and then I met through Andre, because I met Andre through Short Fuse, and then we all pulled up to the studio, and that's where I met you. And then I booked with Glass, and then just kept going to the studio, and then we did the bar out, which the bar out became like, damn, that was pretty easy and efficient. Like our creative process was very organic, and I made that like known off like from the jump. I didn't want to overthink the creative process, like of making it. Oh, does this sound good? Is this what we want to do? Like, I didn't want to be super picky. I wanted to just make music and put it out, because I didn't want to overthink. I've done that so many times. Dropped a couple tracks, ghost away for a little bit, keep the image alive, but not really like pursue it hard. It was like I didn't want that for myself, because I knew where I was at. Like, I had to put out a nice little project. So we came together and just cooked up.
You just kept going with it. That's amazing. Well, I might as well now move into actually no, this is a good question, I think, for the last one in the objective. So it's kind of obviously the start of your guys' experience together. So you've already kind of touched on the question, but like, how has Knowhere Studios for both of you in a lot of ways become this like safe haven and creative like environment? And I've always loved admired what you guys have done with the Community Tuesdays. Like, I thought that was just genius for you guys to do something like that. And like, look at this, like, I mean, you two are probably not the only story to come out of Community Tuesdays. Like, there's probably dozens at this point. But for both of you in your own like sort of ways, like, how has that Knowhere, the sort of from the start of Knowhere Studios to like where it is now, like, how has that been such a impactful space for both of you?
I mean, the fact that you're able to connect and build with people that potentially you wouldn't have otherwise, you know what I mean? So it's the fact that you have the open floor to just be as creative as you want to, so and just the opportunities that creates, as I said, it's like we wouldn't have met otherwise, or if we would have had, we wouldn't have had the chance to work on the Bar Out, which is a series that I have where I connect with different artists and get to test the waters, I guess you could say. And, so happens that me and him connected through Knowhere, and we decided I sent him the beat, and I think it was like a day or two. He already had it written. I had my camera with me. We shot it in the basement.
That was a fire shoot.
It was also organic, and a lot of that is what Community Day is about.
Sure.
So
totally.
Just going with the flow. So.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say no. Go ahead. I was gonna ask you the same question.
Community Days was definitely like my intro into Knowhere, but I will say I felt like when I first went to Knowhere Studios, being that I'm like, I don't want to. I'm competitive, but not in like a me versus you way. It's more of like a me versus me type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love to see people around me do great, but it motivates me to do better when I see people around me do good. So like, when I first went to Knowhere Studios, I didn't know anybody other than the people I went with. So none of them have ever heard me rap before. None of them know like what type of music I make. They don't even really know who I am. So I kind of had to earn my stripes. And like, if you go to Community Tuesdays, you have to be able to take advantage of the opportunity. Like, when I first went, my first couple of weeks, it was like, I think Terminology was there, Najee Janey was there, God was there. There was like a bunch of people who like rap, and like, you know what I mean, these people obviously have known Glass and known Melks, and you know what I mean. So I'm like, I'm a newbie. So I mean, none of these people, like, I got to make sure I'm taking advantage of the opportunity that's in front of me, and I just every week we're just going every Tuesday. If I had a verse, lay it down. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Just kept throwing stuff at the wall, until finally they understood, like, he takes it serious. Like, he's willing to be a student of the game and just be around the environment and like try and make something out of this. And like, this is what it came to, honestly.
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful sentiment. I think that's super important for anybody listening to, like, you know, and it's funny. I mean, you could easily have gone to one of those Community Tuesdays with Terminology, Najee, Janie, God. Shout out to all those guys who are doing incredible things. But like, you could easily have gone there and been like, oh wow, like, I am overwhelmed. No pun intended. And I am, you know, you could have easily just been like, hey, you know, this is overwhelming, or you could have easily just said, you know what, like, this is too much, like, I can't, you know what I mean, like you can't compete with, possibly can I compete with those types of guys, right? But I like what you said too about the me versus me sort of element to it, where it's like, you're not trying to be better than any of those guys, but like, it's like that iron sharpens iron type
like trying to be the best version of myself. And like, I went into it more so like, I've been making music at that point with like 6.5, 7 years. I'm like, I've been doing this long enough to know how to carry myself and how to execute. Like, I know how to rap in front of a lot of people. I know how to perform. I know how to, you know what I mean? I've been doing it for a while. So I understand a lot of the ins and outs. So it's not like I felt like I was any worse than these guys or less experienced. I just felt like these people don't know me yet. And I have to show them what I'm capable of doing or what I already know, so they understand and respect the fact that I'm taking this serious. The same way that I go in there, like, with the respect of them, like, knowing that they've earned their stripes. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, when you look at those people and you hear those names and you see them, you're like, yeah, they take it serious. Yeah. Like, I know those people for music,
right?
And that's the same way I wanted people to hear Bleave and be like, oh, Bleave the artist, like, yeah. So I was like, go in there, meet these people, build these connections, be a good person, support everybody that I come across, and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what was exciting about working with him. You know, as far as like being that, like he said, he's been making music for a while, but you know, getting in front of a whole different audience. To me, that's exciting, and I love the challenge of, like, you know, working with newer acts, because it's one thing when you're working with someone established and, you know, people already have the expectations of what's coming. But when you're working with someone new, like, what direction is it gonna go to? You know what I'm saying? Like, even with our project too, like the way that we went with the sound was unexpected. You know?
Oh, 100% for both of you. I was shocked. I guess it's a good segue. But I know I'm so glad that you just didn't like see that as intimidating, and you just were like, you know what, like, I'm gonna like continue to do, like, be like you said, continue to go every Tuesday and throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Like, that's just what you need to do in any sort of, you know, space that you're trying to achieve, right? I mean, you gotta put in that time and effort, but you have to, like, also put yourself out there and not get, you know, down on yourself if, like, a certain verse doesn't make a song or whatever, right? I mean, you're gonna have those days.
And we went in with that expectation of, like, hey, I mean, we're doing this, we're gonna put it out.
Yeah.
If people like it, good. If they don't, they don't. It is what it is.
I literally said, I want to put this out to people who like it. Great. The people who don't, I'm not really too worried about those people.
No, nor should you.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna execute and build off the people who are resonating with me, because those people, I already know that, all right, they like what I got. Let me build off them. Let me find people like them.
Totally.
And the people who don't, I appreciate you tapping in. You know, it's not even like.
Yeah, no, it's a good attitude to have, but overwhelmed and ambitious, guys. So I want to get into the main lesson, which is obviously what these guys have got going on right now, and the big thing they got going on right now is this project, this album. I'm so two things off it. One, I'm a huge fan of it. I really enjoy the project a lot, but I agree. I've listened to both of your music in the past, and this was a curveball. You sounded very different than I've heard you before, especially on that opening song, Headshot. Yeah. My God, bro. That was my favorite song of the whole thing by far.
We actually keep getting that.
I love that song, man. Like, it is so damn good. Like, it's on my gym playlist. It's on pump up playlists. I bump it in the car. Like, you just, oh man, like, it's a dark, like, you know, that beat is just so menacing, and then you just come in, you're just that delivery you have is such a grit to it. I love the thing.
No, thank you, bro.
It's a great project front to back. Don't get me wrong. Don't stop at Headshot. But I will say, when I was listening to the project for the first time, I don't think I got to the second song until about 20 minutes in because I kept replaying Headshot.
Nah, that's fire. Thank you, bro, for real.
So talk to me a little bit more about, of course, talk to me a little bit more about the process for you guys. So you meet at, obviously, Knowhere, the community days. You guys start to build a rapport. You do the Bar Out series that with Melks. Yep. And then who brought up, was like, let's make a project? Or was it really just super organic?
I think we both were kind of on the same page because he had mentioned something about, you know, working together a little bit more after the Bar Out. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm a workaholic, so
sure.
Just give me any excuse to actually get to work, and I mean, that's
Yo, seriously, he'd be there
that's it.
Early on. But yeah, we did the Bar Out. The Bar Out actually is Road Rage, which is the second, is the second track on the project. So we did that and got
the feedback being
we got really good feedback on that, and even till this day, I still get people that tell me that's their favorite track. So like for me, it's like the two that people tell me they like the most are Headshot and Road Rage. Like you said, don't stop at those two. Make it to the end. But Road Rage was made first for the Bar Out. Got really great feedback, and that's why I had reached out to him and said, yo, what's up? You trying to lock in and get some more? And then once we locked in, the next song that we made was Headshot, which I knew off rip I wanted to make the intro because I just like the energy on it. I was like, I've never done anything like this.
No.
And it's going to be a super curveball for everybody. And I was like, that's all I want to do is just turn heads and be like, whoa, I didn't expect that out of him. And then once we made Headshot, it kind of was like,
started meeting up.
Yeah, I don't even think, like, it just kind of came to, like, I was like, bro, we're doing a project at this point. Right? Like, it kind of was just, like I said, a very organic process. Like, he was just throwing beats. I would just listen to something till something hit. Something I'm like, oh, I like this. Freestyle a little bit, write a little something, record.
Yeah.
Made sure that every session we had, I left with something. You know what I mean? I would never leave without either a hook or a verse or something. So we made the whole project, and then we made 7, and that was it. We got to mix and master and put it
run with that.
Yeah, it's a great body of work. I'm so impressed with it, and I love how what you said about making like those leaps for your own artistry and not just like staying true to like
in my little bubble.
Yeah. I love that. And no, like I said, when I first heard Headshot, I was shocked because I had never heard you go over a beat like that. And I mean, I love your production, but I don't think it reminded me of like like an older like 2000s like Southern song, like it was with the "Let's Go" like that raspy. It reminded me of not like UGK, but oh my god, I can't remember the name now off the top of my head of the group, but like young, like our little scrappy, like that, like that like era of music. So, yeah, it reminded me of like that Southern,
I
just
wanted
like
those,
the aggression.
Yeah.
That was, I wanted something that when I performed, because like you said, going back to what we spoke a little bit about earlier, like having that support system. My support system always shows out. So like I wanted something that when I perform, that these people could yell and these people could just like build this energy in the building and people could feed off of that. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, totally.
I can't wait to perform it, actually.
I'm sure you can. I'm curious, Melks, I guess I'll start with you. Like, how has been working with Bleave? How has that helped you grow as a producer? And in what ways has that helped you like become a better producer than you were before you started?
Honestly, the openness that like how I consider myself a risk taker when it comes to sound, and working with him and seeing him operate the same way. That's gonna make it tough for anyone that I work with, because I really enjoy that, you know, because I feel like as creatives we're supposed to go into different pockets, not get comfortable into, you know, whatever sound we're working on currently, you know. So I feel like that's how you build a legacy, honestly.
No, 100%.
Like experimenting and trying different things, and you know, and it may not be something that people understand now, but 5, 10, 20 years from now,
they're gonna look back and be like, damn, he tapped into so many different lanes casually, just doing what he does.
Well, I think that's so important these days when everything feels like it's kind of almost, I've almost likened music now to like fast fashion, where it's just like you go to like one of these major stores, like I don't know, what do you want to call it, like Forever 21, Zara, whatever, and like you get a piece of clothing and it lasts like one wash cycle and you got to throw it out. Like I feel like, especially music these days, it's become that where it's like, oh, I got this really hot song, it's gonna spin for a month and then I'm on to the next thing, right? And there's no like longevity or legacy with that. So I love that that's something you're talking about right now is building that. Because that's important. I think like that is how you make it long term in this game.
I agree. I feel like oversaturating your content personally for me. I feel like it says something about the creativity. Not that it says that you lack it. Like if anything, it shows that you have a lot. But I feel like for me personally, I told him I wanted to drop this and I wanted to stand on it, bro. And I wanted to be like, yo, this is our project. We're gonna pump this for months and until whatever is next is next. But we're gonna squeeze all the juice out of the lemon because I feel like your value stands there and people understand that you value the work that you put into whatever project it is. Yeah. And sometimes that's a lot easier said than done, because being an artist, it costs a good amount of money to make music. Like
it's not cheap.
Like if you don't have if you don't have people funding behind you, like, and you're putting it out of your own hard-earned money and you're working and you're paying for that, like, it's hard to put together a project. You know what I mean? To go and record 10 songs and get them all mixed and mastered and go pay for a cover art and then get some music videos and then go to marketing. Like, it costs a good amount. Of course. So it's like, but in today's world, it's almost like you have to do that with everything. So if you're constantly putting out music, boom, 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 and you're not doing all these steps, it's like you're almost doing a disservice to yourself. Like, I don't know. Everybody has their own opinion about that, but I 100% agree with the whole wash cycle music, how it is. It's like look at even Drake. Perfect conversation that we had this recently. Drake just dropped his project in October, right? And then he dropped a deluxe version less than a month later. Like, why is that? Drake albums used to be held down for like a year, 2 years. Now it's like he's kind of like, damn, I gotta stay relevant. It's crazy. The industry is crazy, but to each his own. You know what I mean? I feel like personally, we came into it, we were like, yo, we're gonna drop this, we're gonna pump this, stand on it, and we're gonna make sure that people see and value the work that we put into this right here, because this is a moment. This is it's a body like of art. So we're pushing it, pushing it.
Totally. What's your guys' favorite song on the project? I know it's a tough ask. It's like, choosing your favorite child, but if you had a song on this where you're like, nah, this is the one that when I walk away, like, I'm proud of this song. Obviously proud of the whole thing, but like, if there's one you're most proud of.
Most proud of? Ooh. Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
Damn. All the pressure on me.
I'll go first if you want. I don't care.
Honestly, it's really close between 726 and Let 'Em Know.
Okay.
For me.
I like Let 'Em Know. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like Let 'Em Know. I'm glad we dropped that as a single to kind of give a little taste.
It's funny, too, because I remember when we were working on it, he had just finished his first verse. I'm like, no, you have to go on again. You have to do another verse.
Yeah, he was like, you can't end like that. I was like, all right. So I wrote another verse, and then we went from there. I think my favorite song to listen to is Headshot, and my favorite song as far as like that I'm proud of, because it really opened a creative door for me, and it kind of like, I don't know, like I'm trying to put the right words. I feel like it opened up a can of confidence for me, and like it showed that I was confident enough to put out something different. I'd say it was Step Back, because Step Back was just, the beat was out this world. Right when I heard it, I was like, send me that. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to it. I don't know how I'm going to go about this, but I'm going to do it, because it reminded me of something like Kendrick Lamar, where it's just kind of something so out of the box, something I've never heard before, unorthodox, but it moved me. And I was like, that's what I wanted to do, listen to the beats. If it moved me even a little bit, I was like, keep it. I'm going to embrace this feeling and just build off of that. And that beat, I sat in my car for hours trying to write to that beat. And it was just, I forced myself to find something to happen. And I was like, I didn't overthink it. I just put together a song. Was like, yo, this is what I'm doing. I remember when I was recording, you were like, I was like, you like it? You're like, it's different. I was like, facts. But that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted people to hear the song and be like, whoa, what the hell just happened?
And that's what I appreciate. That's what I was saying that I appreciate about him, you know, being willing to take risks like that, because I've had that beat for a while, and I have a couple of other beats that are kind of very unorthodox, and people don't know how to approach them, or, you know, they feel like this is too different, but he dived right in.
I was picking those ones out, like, oh, give me that.
You want the weird ones?
Yeah, I wanted
the off-kilter ones.
Yeah, I just wanted to work on stuff that moved me, honestly. Like, I like a lot of different types of music. I'm very inspired by all different types of music. Like, my playlist is crazy, like, different. Like, I'll go from listening to J. Cole to listening to Georgia Smith to listening to Thames to listening to Luke Bars to listening to Vince Staples to Smino to listening to, actually on the way here I was bumping this Ari Lennox Doja Cat song. Like, yo, Doja Cat bodied her verse. Like, it's like, but like, being shout out to my girl, because she puts me onto a lot of like dope female artists, because, you know, sometimes, like, I'll be honest, I don't really go out of my way to be like, oh, did Sabrina Claudio drop a new album? And then she's the one to be like, listen to that project. And I love singing and I love stuff like that, so I get moved by a lot of stuff like that. So hearing different music and making different types of music is like what I really like to do. I don't ever want to be like, yeah, he's known for just this.
For sure.
Like, no, my next thing will be completely different, and then after that, completely different.
So I feel like you just answered the question of, like, the one I asked earlier about how did Melks help you grow. I feel like that was it. Like,
yeah, honestly,
stepping outside of your comfort zone and, like, being.
He helped me open up that kind of confidence to be like, I'm gonna drop everything that's different, because I have even songs in the tuck that are like, I'm like, damn, like, you know, sometimes when you do a rollout, I feel like as an artist, they want to, like, if you're about to drop a project and it has a certain quote unquote sound, you might drop songs of a similar sound to, or complete opposite sound, to kind of give people like a little taste of the medicine, you know?
Sure.
But I feel like a lot of the stuff that I have in the tuck is like, one's over here, one's over here, one's down here, one's over there. And I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, put it out. See what happens, like, and I would just put it out and stand on that and market it and do what I got to do. I have to even get better in a lot of ways at that, but like finding a balance of being what I believe in, is like dropping the music and pushing it and really showing people this is what I just put out. Like, check this out. Don't just hear it one time and give up on it and think that's it, because there's songs that came out 5-10 years ago that get the right listen to it after some good marketing and they blow up. Like, I think Post Malone, like, he's a pretty good like example of that. Like, when he had White Iverson, like, I'm pretty sure he went on tour. If I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to this, but from what I know, he went on tour and just performed just that song. But it was like he dropped that song and stood on it. It was like, this is going to be the song that's going to take me to the next level. Yeah. And he believed in it and he went hard, and now look.
There's a lot of stories like that too. I mean, Russ is another example of just someone that just dropped songs week after week after week.
And that's another, and exactly. See, he's a pure example of, I'm going to be consistent and drop everything, and I don't really care. I'm just going to drop music. And then other people that, like my biggest inspiration, J. Cole, who drops and he doesn't drop it again for another 2 years. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, come on. But it's like, that's what music's come to, where it's like, there's so many artists now. Everybody wants to be an artist. Not everybody, but there's a lot more people that it's a lot more accessible to be an artist nowadays. Totally. So it oversaturates kind of like the market, you know? Like, there's so many people like saying, yo, check out my song. Click that link in bio. So everyone's like, everybody's telling me that. It's like really kind of hard to establish yourself as a respected artist and like musician and be like, nah, I really do this. I'm not one of these average Joes that's just kind of doing it. Like, nah, like I'm not just my feet in the water. I'm swimming. You know?
Yeah, I'd rather see people. I hear what you're saying. I'd almost rather see artists take their time more too, and I think that's. I mean,
I feel like the products. Personally, the product, you can hear it in the product. If you take your time, believe me, your product you're going to hear it in the product. But to each his own. If you think that dropping music left and right is your thing, I respect it, because I outgrow music that I make. You know what I mean? And I think that's normal as well. As a person, you make music in the moment and you kind of embrace a feeling or a moment. You make a record, and then you might hear it 6 months from now and be like, this is never coming out. And then hear it again 6 months later and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why did I not put this out? It's like, that's part of being a creative. And it's just like, so I get both sides, but I don't know. there's a market for everybody. There's
Totally.
a market for the people who put out songs every week, and there's a market for the people who put out albums every 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find your market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What so I want to play a song from the project for the people. I want to play like a little clip here for the people. Collectively decide which song do you guys think is like the best introduction to this project. Is it Headshot? Just you want to just give them the first one and go down, or is there a song in between there that you guys feel like is a good introduction to this album for people to get excited to listen to it if they haven't?
I'm curious to see what you say, but I think I know what song I'd say.
Well, I definitely think Headshot.
I think Headshot.
To me,
Headshot's, Headshot's the intro, so I mean, you know what I mean?
It's my favorite song too.
Yeah,
so I'm cool. If you guys want to play that one, I'll totally do that one.
It definitely fits in a sense, like, again, because of the aggression, what the project is about, you know? So I feel like that very, I mean, that's why we picked it as the first one.
Yeah,
so.
for real.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, here is Headshot off of Bleave and Melks' brand new project, Overwhelmed and Ambitious. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Yeah. 63 pop on one spot. Business gotta get handled, let's rock. 623 pop up on spot. Don't think it's smoke with a headshot. Switch shots, one fanboy, you better not. We done came too far to let go. When this shit just started, let's go. Impact you regardless, 10 toes. Showtime with them all on the front row. Business gotta get handled, let's rock. 623 pop up on spot. Don't think it's smoke with a headshot. Switch shots, one fanboy, you better not. We done came too far to let go. When this shit just started, let's go. Impact you regardless, 10 toes. Showtime with them all on the front row. I done came from the bottom, all of it started. Since I was point guard, baby, big quarterback. Don't know how some of y'all caught it, but moving forward, I'ma need all of that, all of this one, and I'ma need all of that one. Whole different mode when the kick come, when it comes to the pros and the big one. Yeah, since day one, I've been A1, took a break off, but I'm coming back. Look at that, pushing the shove, but I'm pushing back. Ain't showing love, but I'm used to that. Switch on myself, no excuse for that. Shoot for the stars, they shooting back. Switch up the flow with the booster back. Oh yeah. I got that smoke in my lungs, I got that look on my face. I feel that shit in my soul, I can't look back, don't no way. I got that smoke in my lungs, I got that look on my face. I feel that shit in my soul, I can't look back, then it's gotta get.
All right, and that was Headshot by Melks and Bleave off of their brand new project, Overwhelmed and Ambitious, out now. Linked in the description, so make sure you check it out.
Sir.
Not before the podcast is over, though. Definitely make sure you stick around. We got plenty more left with these guys. Yeah. I think now is a good time for our next segment, which is called Pop Quiz. So in Pop Quiz, how this works is we're going to ask you both a series of rapid-fire questions. Some of them might have to do with music, some maybe not as much. So some of the stuff that maybe I found out about you that you don't think I know. So I'm going to go back and forth. We'll start with you, Melks.
Let's do it.
So, Melks, are you still drinking Red Bull? And if so, what is your favorite flavor?
I should have stopped, but yes, I am still drinking Red Bull. Regular.
The regular?
Regular Red Bull.
Awesome. Bleave, what is the mission of Tradition Records and its significance to you?
The mission of Tradition Records would be to push quality music and stay true to who you are as a person and let that be expressed in the music. Definitely, Tradition Records is something that means a lot to me. You know, it's a collaboration of me and my brother, Blessed by Santo. He founded it in, I believe, 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and we collaborated in about 20. We really became like teammates in like 2017, 2018, and it's been a brotherhood ever since. And that's my team right there. Tradition Records, that's the team.
I love it.
Yeah, dog.
It's awesome. Melks, which seat in a car is the best seat to make a beat?
You know, I've actually made beats in all of them, everywhere, but the trunk. I'd say the trunk.
The trunk.
What are you doing in a trunk? Why? How did that come?
It's actually, you know, you get to just be one with the earth outside. You get to see this, you know, nature. So the trunk, yeah.
Someone's gonna kidnap this man, and they're gonna open up the trunk, and he's just gonna be like, "Hold on, I just gotta get the 808s right. Don't gag me yet. I just gotta make sure this 808s." Bleave, describe your best memory or highlight game as a basketball player.
Damn. Going back to the ball days, when ball was life. My favorite basketball game. I'll probably say an AAU game when I played a bunch of kids that I grew up with. That'd probably be my favorite game because we were without one of our best players, so the offense was really operating through me, and I went crazy that game. And they hadn't seen me; they didn't really knew that I played ball because I played baseball a lot when I knew them, and then for them to see me play basketball was kind of like, oh, I didn't even know you played ball, and then for me to go off was kind of like a stamp on it, like, yeah, put some respect on my name, you know. Yeah, I'll probably say the AAU game, and then there's a varsity basketball game against Methuen. It's in one of the cities that's next to Haverhill. I went off one of these playoff games. It was a while back. I had a crazy pass right down the middle. Forget it. But yeah, probably one of those, either an AAU game or one of my high school basketball games.
Yeah, no, the high school games are usually like those
intense.
It's intense. Yeah, those are like your best memories as an athlete for sure. I love as a former basketball player myself. I can totally relate.
Yeah.
Melks, where's the best spot to get a slice of pizza? I know you're a big pizza guy.
I used to like Domino's a lot, actually.
Really?
But Manos is the spot right now.
Manos is the spot.
Manos?
Yeah.
Is that near the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
right.
Next to the studio.
Big
Shout out to Manos.
Big shout out to Manos.
Yeah, they got good pizza. They honestly do. They really do.
Bleave, as a general manager for Choice Fitness, what is the most underrated workout or machine that people don't utilize enough?
A lot. A lot of things in the gym that people don't use enough. I'll be honest, I don't really know if I would really like put a finger on any specific machine. I feel like overall what people lack the most as far as like in the gym is people don't stretch enough. Being somebody, I work out a lot, so it's like, you know, and I manage a gym, so it's like I'm always in the gym, and it's like I see people walking all the time, and they just right to the weights, and they have injuries, and they wonder why. It's like you don't prep your body, you're not taking care of yourself. You know, I think preparation is very key for execution. So stretching is probably what I say people lack the most. Definitely,
that makes sense. No,
yeah, for sure.
Especially as you get older, right? You got to stretch, right?
No, you have to.
Especially you having injuries, right? You tore your ACL a couple of times, right?
Yep.
And I tore my shoulder. It's like, the stretching it's immensely important.
Super key, bro. Super key for the longevity of like just being able to be active. That's the one thing. I was like, I don't really care about being huge and ripped. I want to be able to play with my kids when they're 10 and be able to.
Not be in good health.
Yeah.
Good health.
Be healthy. Just be healthy. That's it.
Yoga, people. I'm telling you. Don't knock it till you try it.
Facts.
Do not knock it till you try it.
For sure.
Melks, this is my last question in pop quiz for you. True or false? This is a true or false question. Is your favorite movie Soul Man?
Soul Man?
It is not my favorite movie. It is a real movie, though. Look it up.
I've never heard of it personally.
Oh, man.
I heard you like. Do you like the movie at least?
There's some clips of the movie that I showed to a good friend of mine, and he could not believe it was real. So yes.
Well, every time I've gone to Knowhere Studios, I feel like there's always like obscure movies being played.
Yes.
When I'm walking in, movies I've never seen before or haven't seen.
SK used to be the king of that, actually. Yeah,
just
the most random movies playing in the background.
Oh yeah, I've seen quite a few movies that I've never seen before at Knowhere Studios. That's for sure.
For real.
All right, well that was pop quiz. You guys did pretty well.
Oh,
nice job. They both get an A. Well done. Back to the main lesson. I want to talk to you each. I have one question each for you about specific things you do outside of this project together, like things you do actually individually. So, Melks, I'll start with you with Marble Ave, which is your videography company that you have with Andre and Pito. So I'm really curious, like, for you, doubling as a producer and as a videographer, like, how do those two worlds come together and complement each other? And I'm also curious as well, like, which comes first for you? Is it always the music that comes first, or so sometimes you have an idea for a visual, or an artist has an idea for a visual, and then you try to make music to match it? So I'm curious about sort of how these two worlds collide.
Well, first of all, just having another outlet as a creative has been amazing. Just being able to paint the picture really, with the music, having the sound bed, but now being able to shoot and direct and just putting images together, I feel like has been amazing, honestly. And just the opportunities it's created for me actually to be able to shoot music videos as well. It's just put me in certain rooms that I wouldn't have been able to be in otherwise. So, and then it circling back to the music. So, but yeah, it always comes down to the music. That's first and foremost. Just being able to, as far as like working with artists, it always starts with the music. Mm-hmm. That's the nucleus of it, I feel. And I mean that really dictates what the visuals are gonna be at the end of the day.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, he's a beast on both.
Yeah, no, I know. I've seen him, right? Well,
Thank you.
I know we talked about it a little bit earlier with the Bar Out series. Like, you've done one with Bleave and Isaac Groove and Andre. Yeah. How did that I'm curious how that started as well. Was that something that was like organic, like much like with Bleave, or like was the Bar Out series just you saying like I really want to actively do more video content, and that was just like something you like were more purposeful in doing? Well,
honestly, it was more about having another outlet to work with new artists, so because it's one thing just being able to send out the beats and getting artists to jump on the beats, but now being able to shoot the video for these, you know what I'm saying? And again, just creating this series so that it gave me an opportunity to just hear what's coming up, hear something new, and like test the waters, really, which is what happened with us. Because that was, that was our first experience working together, and that's how you kind of, you get to figure out what the chemistry's like, and then, okay, let's work on a project. So
that's amazing. I love it. Hey, well, big shout out to Marble Ave Films. And Sue, if you guys need video content, make sure you definitely reach out to these guys, especially if you're an artist. They do some amazing work.
Thank
you guys. I really appreciated watching you guys even grow that further than you have when I first came on to you guys. Bleave, my question for you. I know you spend a lot of time giving back to the community of Haverhill, specifically the Boys and Girls Club. You're very active there. And so I'm just curious for you, like, what is the sort of intention there of giving back to the community, and why do you see that as such an important part of you as a human being, and maybe how that potentially overlaps with you as an artist and having the platform that you have?
Well, the Boys and Girls Club in specific is a place that I spent a lot of time at growing up. You know what I mean? So it played a big role in my life as far as like who I've become as a person, and like who are my influences, and like being a kid that's born and raised in the city. Like I was able to take advantage of that outlet and like, make something of myself, and being a kid from the Boys Club. So I feel like going back and being that I have people that are really close to me that work there, and they make it really easy for me and accessible to, be a positive impact and be a good role model. And I feel like I don't feel like obligated to do it. Like I don't have to do it, but I feel like it's who I am as a person to give back. Like I see the youth, and I see like a lot of them need a positive role model, somebody there to show them like you don't have to be all that in a bag of chips, but if you're at least a bag of chips, and you're doing what you got to do, and you're staying there every day, and you have people who believe in you, like, and show you that you should believe in yourself, like that will go a long way. Because I felt growing up I didn't have enough of those influences. I definitely had them, and I was able to be one of the smarter kids to be able to pick those influences out and ride those waves and be like, yeah, like, all right, this is what's working, this is what makes sense. But some people don't, you know what I mean? Some people don't have that person in their ear telling them like, yo, you can do it. Like that doesn't matter what anybody says, you can do it. So I felt like I feel like it's part of my purpose on this on this earth is to like give back and be a positive impact like in my community, and use my platform to give back to other people, to inspire other people to be themselves and shoot for their goals, and just be positive. Honestly, that's really just who I am as a person. If you know me, I'm not gonna talk to you about anything negative, and I'm only gonna embrace the positive things, because it's like that's really all I know. That's what works for me. So I want to help other people and do the same thing, especially the youth. Because shout out the boys club, like they've always given me any opportunity, any idea I had or I wanted to do with the kids, like they let me do it. Like one of my boys is a personal trainer. He trains a lot of pro athletes. He went in there and ran a camp for the kids, and they allowed me to coach the basketball team. They allowed me to come in there and just be myself, and they don't, they embrace me for who I am, and it's helped me impact a lot of kids. So that's something that definitely holds a lot of weight over here. So
right. No, that's incredible. And so do you have any sort of long-term goals? Like I know we talked about like a little bit off air, you had said like you write down a lot of your goals like daily. Like is there anything you have for like specifically with the Boys and Girls Club, like goals long-term that are like, or any kind of community building that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
I definitely do want to do something as far as like music, like put together like a show and put together something where the community people like in my local community can come together and like create something within music. You know what I mean? Because there's artists in my city, but there's not an overload of them. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's like what I've lived in New York for a little bit, so I've been around a lot of artists where you'll meet 20 artists in a day, and then being in my city, there might be 20 artists in total. You know what I mean? So it's like creating a platform for people to have confidence in making music and being like, I don't have to be the biggest in the world. I can just make music because I love music. Mm-hmm. And definitely want to, my end goal is to donate a bunch of money to them so they can do whatever their vision is and push their image, because what they do already is great. They provide so many opportunities and programs for kids for like close to nothing. So that alone, I support that fully. But I would like to have my own program in the long run, like an impact program where like kids come together to enforce positive impact, and I can be like the lead, like the captain of the team, and like we go do things in our community and we embrace the positive impact. That's my long-term goal. But with time and effort and everything, that'll fall into place. But definitely long-term, I'd like to have my own program.
Yeah, and I appreciate, and I really wanted to bring this piece up because like in doing my research on you and seeing that you were like somebody that like likes giving back to the community and being a part of the Boys and Girls Club and different things like that. Like, obviously this platform that we have here at Turntable Teachers, we want to spread that awareness. We want to spread positivity and give back to the community as a teacher myself. Right. But like, working with kids constantly, but if you don't work with kids every day, you don't realize the impact you can have on them, and also like how difficult it can be as well. And so like for yourself, I mean, that's huge of you to be able to give back your time and be that positive light that like you could be changing a kid's life and not even realize it. You know,
100%. Feeding off what you said, like, and having the patience to understand, like, they might not resonate with what you're saying off rip. They might not even give two shits about you until they see you 20 times, and then they give you the time of day. But it's like that's what it takes sometimes. And I feel like a lot of people will see a lot of these young kids, they don't take their advice one time. Oh, you don't want to listen, so then go ahead, be on your own. It's like, damn, you give up on them just one time because they didn't listen. It's like being there consistent and showing them like, okay, like even though you ain't hearing me, I'm still gonna keep telling you the same thing, so that way you can't say I didn't tell you.
You have to build trust.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's important than anything, whether it's
100%.
music or with kids.
I think we touched on that too, like trust. Like,
trust
what I mean? Like, like
really important
that really
factor.
goes a long way, and especially with kids, and especially kids that you don't know. Like if kids don't know you, like that people are like, oh, listen to this guy. They're like, who are you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
So it's like building that, like showing them, like backing up your word and show, like actions speak louder than words type of thing.
100%.
And that goes a long way with kids. So.
100%.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that helps you as a parent as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
being a parent. So, which is a great segue. So we have this other segment that we've been trying out. This is actually the second time we've done it. It's called Pass or Fail.
Let's do it.
And this is going to be Dad Edition because you being a new father, you've just welcomed a 4-month-old son, and Melks just finding out that he's going to have a girl, which is incredible for Dad for the first time. So this is called Pass Fail.
Okay.
And essentially I'm going to read off of a statement, and you guys are going to tell me whether you do it, pass, or if you agree with the statement, you're going to say pass. Or if you don't agree with the statement or you wouldn't do it, you're going to say fail. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, first one, writing an original lullaby for your child.
Pass, 100%. I do that every day. Make little corny tracks, but it helps a lot. Like my stepdaughter learned her name because I made a corny song, And she learned her name, and that's how she learned.
Oh, that's awesome!
Name.
Hell yeah. All right, so he already does it. Pass,
Yeah,
and it worked. So double pass.
Yeah, facts.
She learned her name.
No, pass. Definitely
Like,
planning on doing that.
Learn to spell her name. She definitely knew her name, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Melks is gonna make the dopest like lullaby with the
Yeah.
808s bumping.
For
It's
real.
gonna be great.
My kids are
Facts.
gonna know what a 808 in key sounds like.
For real.
It's like, Dad, that's totally in key. Playing your own music with your newborn or your small children in the car.
Pass, 100%. You gotta know the
Pass.
vibes. You gotta know where you know where you're coming from.
I love it.
Definitely
No,
pass.
pass for sure.
Pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I love it. Your child pursuing music or let them like kind of having to pursue music. Is that a pass or a fail?
Choosing or, I guess,
Like you said,
pushing music on them.
I would say, are you going to push them to be creatives and put music?
Being creatives, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
but as a form of music.
I'd say no, so fail. Only because I'd like to see what kind of taste she would develop. You know, see what it is that she's gravitating towards.
Okay,
So
I like it.
my heart says pass. You know, my head says fail. Only because I wouldn't force them. I wouldn't force my kids to be anything that they didn't want to be. Like, I'll heavily influence them and like definitely be that ear, like encouraging them to try these things because I'd see the benefit in them. But I would never force them to do something that they didn't want to do. But I think it's almost nearly impossible for my kids to not want to get into music because they're already like hooked. So yeah.
That apple doesn't fall far from
Yeah,
the tree
no,
sometimes.
no.
We just
Yeah.
had Mo Pope in here, and he brought his daughter, and she was in the media room
Being
or in the
creative.
lounge. Yeah, she was drawing or whatever. And I looked, and then I'm like, because he used to be a drawer and a painter as a kid. And then after the podcast is done, he's like, honey, what are you working on? And she's showing us. It's like this dope friggin' drawing that she has. I'm like, how old are you again? It's pretty
bro.
crazy.
Crazy.
It was wild. Corny dad jokes, pass or fail.
Definitely pass.
Good. You guys are,
any joke is a pass.
yeah, you guys are in good company. I do the dad jokes, and I'm not even a parent or upcoming parent. So, my last question is for you, Bleave. I want you to, as being a father, and you also have a stepdaughter as well. What's the biggest advice you can give to Melks about being a brand new father for the first time?
Sheesh. Honestly, it's not as hard as people made it seem. To be honest, everybody's gonna have their own opinion. Don't listen to anything that anybody says. Be yourself and just understand that everybody's experience is different. And people say things with good intention, but don't let them
influence or
don't let them put their maybe, I don't want to say insecurities or like, you know, like what they think or what might have happened to them. Don't let them put that on you. Like that because that happened to me, it's gonna happen to you. Like, oh, you better get your sleep. Like, some kids sleep. Some kids don't cry that much. Like, don't let people put this image in your head like it's got to be so hard. Like, it doesn't have to be hard, you know? But you're somebody who, you make the most of it. You'll make it happen. You know what I mean? So being a make it happen type of person, I don't think you're going to be like, oh, my God, my kid's crying. Like, you're going to be like, oh, my kid's crying, and that's why I need to be
figure
there.
out how to solve the situation. Yeah.
You'll figure it out on your own. But, you know, be present, be there, spend time. You know, time management, be present. That's really all that matters. Like, I really value being with my kids more than anything. And it's because, like, when you really, you'll see. When you start holding a kid and it's yours and you're like, wow. And then you have to go to work and you realize that you only get to spend 3 hours of the day with them. You're like, damn, that 3 hours is very important. You know, if you work a job, like hypothetically speaking, work a 9 to 5, get up at 6. I'm throwing numbers out there. Get up at 6, get up, get ready for work. Your whole morning's busy. Out of the house by 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like, you get an hour in the morning.
It sounds like we're gonna have some studio sessions with the kids from around.
Yeah, for real. I'll put them in the media room. They still there. But yeah, definitely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro. Be present, manage your time, and just enjoy it. Because I can't believe my son's already 4 months, bro. I felt like he was born yesterday.
Time flies.
Bro,
That's wild.
I didn't realize. I knew time went fast. I have a very good understanding of time, but it just keeps getting faster.
Isn't it?
I feel like the more you are aware of how fast time goes, the faster it gets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if they say, like, oh, point on every red car, you start seeing red cars everywhere. It's like once you realize that time is
That's a good way. Yeah.
it's like it just keeps going by faster and faster.
Well, as a kid, right? Because I even think about this too, like, you know, because I still get my summer breaks, quote unquote, even though my summer are now working here. But like, it's weird because as a kid, you think like summer's so long, right? It's like it feels long, and then like nowadays when I get my summer break, whatever, that shit flies.
Yeah,
like it's having that awareness of like you said,
like of time
of like, oh, I have 8 weeks, but 8 weeks isn't as long as you think it is, and then it just goes, right?
Yep.
No, I think that was very sound advice. Being present, I think, is so important, just in whatever you're doing, but especially with your children. Like, I think that not enough parents aren't present with their kids these days, or they're so wrapped up in work or whatever it is, right? It's like I think being present is so important.
Super important.
It is, especially for your kids, and showing them that you're there. I love that. Well, I know. I just wanted to make sure I touched upon that. You being a father, you being a new father, because it's
dad life. Good dad gang.
Good dad. Shout out to Urban. Good dad gang. Absolutely. No, I thought that was super important to bring up because obviously we love talking about the music, but that's a very your families are important.
Yeah, family first, for sure.
Family first, no doubt about it. Well, guys, this has been such a great episode. I really appreciate your guys' time and coming down here and having this conversation with me.
Appreciate this. For sure.
This has been a lot of fun. And long overdue for sure. I can't let you go quite yet because we have the open response, which is our final question, and that is the dream song scenario. So I'll structure it for you. Melks, since you're a producer, okay, you get 3 guest features on this song and 1 producer if you want to collaborate with, and that's dead or alive. So they can be any artist, dead or alive. Bleave, same with you. You get a producer and you get 3 artists, 3 guest features. It's a Bleave song and it's a Melks song. All right, it's your own individual songs. Okay. Any artist, dead or alive, who would be on your dream songs? I'll give you as much time as you need, depending upon who wants to go first. If they feel like they're ready.
Yeah. So Dave East.
Okay.
Freddie Gibbs, Pusha T.
Ooh, he was ready.
And for real. And you know what?
Damn, bro.
And you know what? If I have to share co-production, it would have to be with my inspiration, Just Blaze.
Oh, that's fire.
So, Just Blaze. I haven't heard a Just Blaze beat, I think, in a while. Is he still active?
He's still active.
He's still active?
Yeah.
He had this song with Joel Santana back in the day, that The Second Coming it was called. And I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was for a Nike commercial, but then they actually dropped it as a legitimate project. And I used to love Just Blaze's beats, bro. He was crazy. Yeah, wow, Just Blaze. All right. Just Blaze, Melks featuring Dave East, Freddie Gibbs,
and
Pusha T. Yeah, damn, I think that would be
bars.
That would be it. Yeah,
bars. This is a bar fest.
Yeah, be a lot of cocaine bars. That's for sure on that one.
Facts. Oh man, damn, you didn't even give me time to think, bro. All right. I'm gonna put some different flavors, different sauces in this bowl. Make this track different. I'd have to go with my biggest inspiration, J. Cole. So definitely Cole be on the track. My favorite creative at the moment is probably Smino.
I think love Smino.
Yeah, Smino's a beast.
Crazy.
All his music is just so creative and different. It's always inspired me to do different things. So I definitely would want Smino. I put Smino on the hook, Cole on a verse, and then I have one more.
Yep.
I'm on the track too, though. So.
And you also need a producer as well. Don't forget a producer.
I'll probably go with Monty Booker and him and Smino.
We've been getting him a lot.
Yeah, they go hand in hand, but he's just nasty, bro. His beats are so different, bro. The way his 808s hit and the rhythms that he picks,
808s be hitting.
Yeah,
bro. Key.
His rhythm is just different, and I love different. So I definitely would go Monty Booker, Smino, Cole, Monty, and then if I had to pick the last artist, let me think of what I've been listening to lately. Oh, that's a good one. But I don't want to settle. Not that it's settling, but I don't know. This isn't really crazy because I'm from Mass, so this is normal to me. I think Luke Bars and Brent Fires are in a fist fight match for the last spot. Honestly,
fighting it
Being that, I'd want to hear Luke and Smino together, but I'd also want to hear Cole and Brent. I said Brent, right?
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Brent, yeah.
Yeah. Cole and Brent. I would want to hear Brent on like a bridge.
I'll let you have both. It's okay.
I can do it, all of them.
Just
Crazy,
just don't tell
bro.
anybody else. Don't tell.
All right. Yo,
even though
be
this is
crazy.
totally being recorded.
So
and everyone
yeah,
else
I'll
knows,
go.
so.
If I could do that, I'd go Cole Smino, Luke Bars, and Brent Fires on a Monty Booker beat. Co-produced by Melks with your boy Bleave on it. Let's
All right,
go.
hey, I gave you the extra
I know.
artist. You can't now pull Melks into
you
this
gave
now
an
too.
inch, I took
And he's
him
got his
off.
own dream song.
I
Let him
know.
have it. I love it. Well, Melks co-production with Just Blaze featuring Freddie Gibbs, Dave East, and Pusha T. And then you got
Crazy.
Believe, produced by Monty Booker, featuring J. Cole, Brent Faiyaz, Luke Bars, and Smino. I think they'd both be smash hits, man.
I think they'd be.
We gotta manifest these a
They
little bit.
cover both worlds too.
Yeah, facts. I feel like this
Two
one
totally
would be
different
like
worlds would be covered.
wild creative, and this one would be like barred out, like no pun intended, but.
Well, we would need a bar out series.
Yeah.
Like there would be I think bar out would be
Go crazy. Yeah.
you'd be getting the sponsors would be rolling in for something like that with
Facts.
those three on it.
That'd be
Damn,
crazy.
that would be crazy.
Yeah, that's a really good question though. I don't think I've ever been asked that before.
Yeah, it's our favorite question we like to ask at the end of each. We like to put our artists on the spot or producers on the spot and ask them what their dream songs would be. You know,
Yeah, hell yeah, that's definitely the dream
it's
song.
yeah. So it's fun. Well, guys, this has been such a great episode. Thank you guys so much for
facts.
being here. We really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having us, bro, for real.
I really means a lot. I'm glad we were able to do it. Now that's all that's left is for you guys to just plug away. So where can the people find you? And anybody you want to shout out?
Melks producer on everything. Shout out to Knowhere Studios, No Mas Free, Marble Ave Films, Entertainment, my people, John Glass, SK, Andre X, Pito, Blessed by Santo. Got to shout him out too.
My guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, my artist name is Bleave, Bleave. You can find me on all social medias at Bleave the Impact. You know, me and my brother Melks, we got a project called Overwhelmed and Ambitious out now on all streaming platforms. We got a couple videos out as well. Yeah, man, tap into the music. Shout out Santo, Blessed by Santo on everything. Shout out Melk. Shout out Shoreview. Shout out Blanco. Shout out Knowhere. Shout out Turntables teachers.
Everyone.
Shout out all my people. If you know, you know. It's all love. Leave the impact. We here.
I love it. And if you're a fan of Melks and Believe, just coming on to Turntable Teachers for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest episodes, blogs, merch. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator, make sure you hit us up at aoastudios.org to book your session or service today. And once again, Believe, Melks, thanks guys so much for being here. It's been a lot of fun. I'm Mike. That's Believe. That's Melks with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turntable teachers.